Uh, Happy Tuesday. Uh, Maybe not so happy, if you have friends and loved ones, who are unfortunately, in the war zone or probably headed toward the war zone. So much stuff's going on, as far as with our country, as far as being manipulated, by, of course, Israel. I mean, at least I believe that anyway. I mean, um, the whole thing overall, I think, is just a big distraction. I really hate to talk with this kind of stuff, because people's lives are involved. But there has become a time and point, as Americans, you have to be able to buckle down with this government and just say, look, we're not having this stuff anymore. It's total nonsense. I mean, being a bunch of bullies and basically killing people for nothing. And right now, the president that we have, it, they're lawless. I mean, they don't care about any laws or anything that the people say. Now, the government is supposed to be an extension of the people, of the people's will. Now, now I will say this, unfortunately, if you look in the comments of some of these videos that I make and even a few others, you have some really racist clowns who really be coming in and chiming in on these things. Um, those are the ones that, if there is a war, I want sent there first. Let them do all the fighting, being they have so much mouth and and so pro war. I mean, this this mentality of just taking and abusing people, man, it's got to stop. I mean, this thing with Iran, it's already getting out of hand. 11 different countries are involved right now that I know of, and probably more. It's dividing the whole world. It really is. Two countries, two countries. Our country, unfortunately, and Israel, of course, basically, have started a whole war, which potentially could be a world war, threw the first rocks, threw the first stones, and put their hands behind their back. And then the first thing they said is they did a preemptive strike. Were we ever in danger? I don't know about that. I don't know if we're ever in danger, but I can tell you one thing: as an American, we're in danger now. We're definitely in danger now. Do you know how many sleeper cells are probably in this country right now? I bet a lot. I bet we have a lot right now going on as far as sleeper cells. You can't even make this stuff up, man. It's really it's about to get out of hand. It's going to get out of hand. It really is. Of course, all governments out of hand anyway. Where they just assume that no matter what the people say, they're going to do what they want anyway. That's not good. Not good at all. So hopefully, and maybe they get themselves together as a government, as a country. And look, this spilling bloodshed, man. Look, got a lot of young kids, and even the ones in camp now coming up, man. It's horrible to even think about it, man. I think about it every single day, man. Every single day. You have a group of old crusty bastards, in charge of countries, in charge of militaries, who basically wield the sword for financial gain. Financial gain and maybe hiding these Epstein files in some cases, That's what I believe. And these poor ass MAGA son of guns who are going around making racial slurs and all this other kind of crazy stuff and supporting them, they're worse. But like I said before, they need to be the very first ones in line for war. If they want war, send them all over there. Send them every damn one of them over there. Bring back the good people who recognize that war and aggression is not the way. It's not the way in a civilized world or a civilized nation. Be constantly warring. I know. I'm just tired of it. I can just in my lifetime, man, I've watched so much aggression. And for again, the America, for example, we seem to think that we can police the whole world. Seem to think we can just go everywhere when we want, do what we want, and there's no repercussions. It's bullying everyone. Why is America the only one? Why should we be the only ones, with nuclear bomb? Why? Is that because the white man said so? Is that it? The track record in America is racist as hell anyway. Most of us know that. Even most white people know that. You know, and it's a shame because they're good whites as well, they're bad blacks and everything else. You know, so I'm not gonna pinpoint anyone, but we do know the power structure here in America and in Israel is led by a bunch of powerful white European men who believe in aggression, power, and money and greed. We all know that. So if me calling it white folks by saying that, that's calling it white folks, well, I guess I am. Because there's so many decent people in this world who don't want war and who are in the same boat as a lot of the so-called blacks and just, around the country, blacks and Hispanics. You know, just this morning when I got up, the first thing I noticed was they had a mass shooting in Texas. Was, a guy, I think it was from Senegal or someone like that, black man. Evidently, he went off. He was wearing a Islamic T-shirt and praise Allah on a T-shirt or sweatshirt. And the first thing they started to do was go ramp up fear and hatred for Muslims in this country. Right now, when white men are doing these serial killings and mass shootings, I haven't heard anyone say yet, "Oh, let's round up all the white folks and send them back to Europe." I haven't heard that yet. Not once have I heard that. I'm looking forward to the time that I hear that. Maybe the natives should have done it. Maybe we probably wouldn't be in this situation right now if the natives had done that. We probably wouldn't, because the nature is just to take. How much taking can a person do? How much taking can a government do? How much bullying can countries do? Now you got people dying by the hundreds and thousands over the Middle East every day for nothing, for absolutely nothing. And I firmly believe, at least I haven't seen it. I haven't heard any credible news sources come up with any direct threats that Iran had planned against America. I haven't heard that yet. In other words, they weren't bothering Americans. They were not doing that. But yet we seem to be about to go to war and fight for Israel. That's what it seems. I guess Israel's thinking, oh, we'll fight Iran until the last American. That's how it seems. I'm gonna tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Israel is not the friend. It's not our friend. They're just exploiting us. That's all they're doing. They are just exploiting the people of this country for money and for profit and blood. That's all they're doing. We gotta wake up, people. We've got to distance ourselves from these warmongering countries and also these warmongering leaders, including our own. Gotta stop. Gotta get rid of them. I want to see a world where my kids and grandkids actually can grow up without war, but with love of everybody. But how can you love everybody? You can't. You just can't. And again, I know I'll be saying I'm racist or blah blah whatever, but I really don't care at this point. I'm a black man who's watching what's been going on in America since I've been a child. Okay, and I see nothing but racial hatred and bigotry in this country. And you notice the countries that they seem to attack aren't white. They never attack these countries that are European. They don't. They look for countries that are weak, who don't have a nuclear program that they can bully. And that's what they're doing. It's taking over everything. You know how, look, I wasn't a Biden fan or anything like that. Not at all. And I damn sure it's never been a Trumpster, I can tell you that. But at least with Biden, we weren't this bad out of hand. We weren't out here warring from nation to nation, setting fires. We weren't doing that. It's time to get them people out of there. And I don't care if Republican, Democrat, whatever. We have got to get out of this Republican, Democrat thing. We've got to start looking for the best candidate. And I tell you one that I liked back in the day, and a lot of you guys don't like. You're going to say, oh, he's a socialist, he this and that. Bernie Sanders had a heart for the people. I seriously doubt if Bernie Sanders was the president, had been president, this would ever happen. Now, he's got flaws. Everyone has flaws. But the man truly loves people. And that's what we need. We need to get back to president and leadership that loves their people first. Loves their people so much that they won't put them in harm's way of dying in wars with somebody else. This is just my morning thing, you know. I mean, I really didn't want to come on this morning with all this craziness of bombing and people dying. Kids, little girls, little boys will never get to grow up. They never get to grow up because of this, because of grown people. Grown people are ignorant and greedy. What are we going to do, Americans? Are we going to continue with this? Or are we going to do something? We've got to rein in the power of the president, no matter who the president is. We have got to rein in the power and hold these people accountable. In my opinion, what they're doing is basically no more different than acting as a traitor. I really believe that. And if you're a traitor to your country, you don't, as far as I'm concerned, and you put people's lives at risk, you kill hundreds, you kill thousands, you endanger people, maybe you should be exiled. Exiled from this country, never be able to see it again. Just like ISIS is rounding up the so-called illegal Hispanics and blacks and Africans and everything else. They're just taking anybody and everybody. But they ain't grabbing those white boys who are going around mass murders, serious shootings. I bet you when they found out that Texas shooter was someone of color, they clapped, knowing that the fact that finally it wasn't one of theirs who created it. But even though it wasn't a white man, as we call it, they still created that. They're creating the tension throughout the world where people are starting to feel like, I got to do something. Going around killing people, that's wrong, period. Don't condone what that guy did. It was crazy on the other hand. Innocent people. But what our government is doing is stirring up the crazy fanatics. And we have all kinds of so-called terrorist cells floating around in this country right now. But what kills me is how the white man calls them terrorist cells. Terrorism, what it means, fear. So they fear retribution. They're fearing that someone will step up and do something back to them. Is basically what it is. The real terrorists around this world is proven to be us, Americans. And the ones, those Israelis. You gotta have a heart for people. And I don't care whether you believe in God or whether you don't believe in God. If you believe in God, have a love, have a belief in your God. For what your God means, what your God stands for. Okay? When the Department of Defense changed its name to the Department of War, I knew we were in trouble. I knew it. He basically told us he was going to start some shit. But we didn't listen. Again, people, the government is an extension of you, we the people. Okay? They're not to be operating as they want to. They're not to be operating like that. We got to shut this shit down, people. Or we're not going to have a world to live in. With these people in charge, we are not going to have a world to live in. Every good thing must come to an end. And I'm telling you, so-called benefits that the European man has had in this country through force, will, it's will come to an end. It's about to end. And I'm going to tell you something. Rome fell. Every empire has fell in the past. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, I believe we're about to see America fall. Fall because of fools. And if history is written any further, if it makes it any further, that's going to be exactly what's noted. America fell because of foolery. Foolery. In which people just couldn't accept other people and move on and live their lives. These people have a lot of money, they're powerful, but they are miserable. Miserable people. Think sources that come out talking about the Epstein files where they've eaten people, torturing people. What kind of shit is that? Eating people. Sexually torturing people. And these are our leaders. These are our leaders. I'm telling you, people, we got to step up. It's time for a change. Listen, I'm your boy, Drew. And guess what? Hope you guys think about it this morning. Hope you guys have a happy Tuesday.